Hello, everyone. This is Robert Landau, Live Life Well TV host with another episode of America's Greatest Personalities. This episode, we will take a look at the life and times of the stunning beauty and Hollywood iconic actress that was Ava Gardner. Stay tuned. Many people say that she was one of the greatest beauties of all time. Others like to remember her because she was one of the few that always said it like it was. Yet others will tell you that what they liked about her was the fact that nothing seemed to be a barrier for her. If she wanted something, she just set out to get it. Thank you very much. End of story. If you told her she couldn't do something within just a short while, not only would she do it, but she would excel at having completed it to the point where no one else could have done it better than she. We're talking, of course, about the amazing Ava Gardner. Gardner was a star when Hollywood was king, and to that end, there was scarcely a time during the heyday of her career that she wasn't under contract to a major motion picture studio. Not an easy feat to boast of in those days. Ava Lavinia Gardner was born on December 24th, 1922, in a small town in South Carolina. She had no less than 6 siblings and was born into a family that always seemed to struggle to make ends meet. She would love to play with her 2 brothers and 4 sisters and got along with them very well. But it must have been difficult finding lasting friends simply because her family had to keep moving because work was very difficult to come by in those days. Things would get even harder when Ava's father would pass due to bronchitis in 1935. School was never a big interest for Ava. By the time she started to attend high school, Ava had read only 2 books. They were the Bible and Gone with the Wind. In 1941, Ava would be 18 years of age, and it was then that she decided to visit one of her sisters in New York City. Her sister just happened to have been married to a well-known professional photographer. All he needed to do was take one look at the stunning brunette with the piercing green eyes that was standing before him the day that she visited them, and he knew that she had star power and then some. Ava's brother-in-law grabbed his camera and, after a while, persuaded Ava to pose for him. She was a stunning subject for a series of portrait photographs, so much so that her brother-in-law would end up displaying those photos in the window of his Fifth Avenue photography studio for everybody to see. And everybody did. So much so that, as luck would have it, and I love stories like this, a bigwig from MGM Studios just happened to walk by her brother-in-law's photography studio windows one day. And what do you think happened? He was totally taken with the photos of Ava that he saw, so much so that he just had to contact her, and did, and in so doing arranged for a screen test. Wow. That's the stuff of legends. Ava must have been revealed to know that the screen test actually had no sound. So most of the studio's corporate staff had no idea that Ava had a thick Southern accent. The result of the screen test, though, would be the fact that MGM ended up offering to put Gardner under contract. How amazing that must have felt for her. It was happening fast. Ava then, of course, moved to Hollywood with her sister, the very same one who was once married to the photographer, and Beatrice, her sister, would now become Ava's manager. MGM made Ava take acting, speaking, and cosmetics lessons, all in preparation for a major career on the silver screen. Because Ava had had no legitimate acting experience, MGM didn't give her huge roles in the first number of films she'd appear in between the years of 1942 and 1945. This would total out to be about 17 motion pictures. On paper, 17 motion pictures in that short a period of time might seem impressive, but Ava barely spoke but 3 lines of dialogue in those films, so one would understand that she wasn't a very happy camper, to say the least. In 1946, Ava would be on loan to United Artists Studios, and it was there that she got her first real meaty film role. The picture was a Western by the name of Whistle Stop. Now, better film roles would delight fans that were quickly realizing how beautiful and incredibly talented this young star really was. Stars would also line up to appear with her. Burt Lancaster, George Raft, James Mason, and Clark Gable, just to name a few, would all appear in pictures with Ava. Now, Ava was a part of Hollywood's elite, professionally and, might I say, personally as well. When she first arrived in Hollywood, known for staying out late and partying it up just a bit, Ava would meet a very young Mickey Rooney. Rooney would end up proposing to her, and Ava accepted. The marriage only lasted a brief amount of time, though. Do you know who Ava would marry next? Big band leader Artie Shaw. Shaw would unfortunately end the marriage after a short period of time, allegedly stating that Ava wasn't as educated as he was. Next marriage, do you know who that might have been? The one and only Frank Sinatra. Well-publicized marriage. The paparazzi and the fans, film-going public, America loved to hear all about this. This happened to have been a time when Sinatra was going through a very, very difficult and somewhat emotional period. He was questioning everything, and along with that, money happened to have been tight. Ava would even have to give him money to buy gifts for his kids. Due to extreme pressure and stress, Ava would end up leaving Sinatra. After being married for 6 allegedly stormy years, Ava would end up divorcing Sinatra. Frank was shattered, and many say that he never stopped loving her for the rest of his life. Many say that he never got over her for the rest of his life. He even had a statue of her as a Greek goddess in his backyard that he kept for many years after they divorced. It would be Frank's last wife that would finally force him to get rid of that statue of Ava, as you can well understand. Ava would go on to have a relationship with Howard Hughes. More movies and excellent roles would follow for her in films such as East Side, West Side, Pandora and the Flying Dutchman, love that title, Showboat, The Snows of Kilimanjaro, and Red Dust, just to name a few. It would be a film that Ava would make in 1953 by the name of Mogambo that would bring her great acclaim for her acting talents. Who were her stars in Mogambo? Do you remember? They were Clark Gable and Grace Kelly. More unforgettable film roles would follow, but it seems that Ava was getting increasingly unhappy with all the negative press that she was getting about the personal side of her life. That's the downside of being a Hollywood star. She upped and moved to Spain to get away from all the media hype surrounding her, only to follow her there. While in Spain, it is said that she would have affairs with three of Spain's top bullfighters. The 1960s were good to Ava as far as films went. She would make The Unforgettable Night of the Iguana, 55 Days at Peking, 7 Days in May, and I remember this so well, The Bible. She would continue to make films all the way through the 1970s, such as Earthquake with Charlton Heston. She would insist on doing all of her own stunts in that film, much to the horror of the film's director. Television appearances would also bring Ava to a whole new audience that adored her. Now viewers could see her in, remember, Knots Landing, remember Falcon Crest, just to name a few of the many TV shows that she would give her name to. While Ava may have appeared to have a busy career, and she did, her personal life was quite different at this point in time. People would have been shocked to know that she was living alone for most of her final years. Only her maid and her beloved dog would live with her. Sadly, the great Ava Gardner would pass on July 25th, 1990. She was only 67 years of age. Frank Sinatra paid her medical bills up until her passing, and her dear friend Gregory Peck would take in and employ her maid and also adopt Ava's dog as part of his family. Ava Gardner was one of the screen's most beautiful women, but what is also important to remember was that she was an incredible person, as beautiful inside as she was outside, who loved life and made sure she got the most out of it each and every day. Something that is very important for each one of us to do and to remember to do each and every day. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Robert Landau, Live Life Well TV host, with another episode of America's Greatest Personalities.